mentioned in an earlier video that I would be doing a bit of work on the wheels. So I am slowly getting them back. I went back to mostly the metal on that one, and I realised it's no real need for it. So I used the grinder with a flat disc to get that. And I had to do a bit of filling on this one because there was some severe hacks in it there. So we used our bit of filler on that, and then I went over it then with a drill and different sanding pads. So we've new tyres and tubes ordered, and they're getting fitted to new rims. So I said I'd go ahead and get these cleaned up. So I've got both of the faces filled. So some more filling on this one. This one's going to get a little bit of sanding done on it there now. You can see the filler there. So we're going to sand him like we did with this, and then we're going to work on the other side, the underside of it, of the dish. It's cleaned down with flat disc and with the wire brush on the angle grinder, and then we'll just run a quick sandpaper over the back of them. I want a bit of patina left on these. I don't want them looking perfect. And I'd say, judging by the yellow paint, these were industrial, and they did have a fair life, to be honest with you, as in they had a hard enough life. So it will definitely be a bit of patina on them. I kind of prefer them with a bit of patina, and we got paint mixed up today as well. So we're going to red oxide them, and yeah, give them a few coats of the grey, stone laid grey, and when we get the rims back, we'll give them the same treatment. Side here, I didn't go too crazy with the flat disc and the angle grinder with the wire brush. It's a big heavy wire brush. So what I do is I just go over them at a 120 on this, nice and slow, and level it. Doesn't take much just to give it a quick smoothing. Get any of them brush strokes out of it. I want a bit of texture on it, so I don't want it to be perfect. It doesn't look smooth, but it definitely feels very smooth. Yeah, it doesn't look smooth, of course, but by jizz, I can tell you, it feels lovely. Should be a little bit of texture on it. That's exactly what I want. That's what I'm going for. Yeah. So with this side here, with the filler, what I was doing was I just go over where I filled with my hand and just have a feel. Same there, that bit of filler there. Run it over with the finger, let that be your gauge. Same there. There's a little bit there of an indent, but I don't mind that. I took most of it out. There was 1, 2, 3, 4. There was a few hacks in it there. So we'll leave a little bit of an indent, and I want a little bit of history still in it. So that to me is going to be good enough, and there's a little bit of scar in there as well. I like that. I like that. They often get surface rust there, you know, where the water was sitting on them and all that. So yeah, that is good. So they're ready for a wipe down. What else? A wipe down, and then to be honest, I think it's just going to be red oxide. Go for the red oxide on both of them and get them drying. I'll paint the underside of them first, and then at least there's any drip through. There shouldn't be, but I'll be able to sand it off and then work on this final, because these are well hidden underneath behind the wheel. So that's what we'll do. So I'm paint mixed mask was mixed up a bit, so I'm not sure. The paint is getting fairly old, the iron oxide, so we're not going very heavy there with the paint, as you can see, so give that a little bit more. We're at 100 psi on the compressor here beside me, with a bit more paint. So a lot of air coming out, not so much paint, so give a bit more paint again. Just going to take our time and build them up like that. So yeah, we're going the slow route. That's probably enough. It's not enough finished, obviously, but it's enough for first coat. It's going to let it just slowly build up. See what we're doing. Still a bit. Yeah, so we're taking the slow and steady approach here. Some people have it down to a T. They nearly get a good first coat in one go. I like to take my time. Block there, must be a bit of dirt in it. Yeah, you can see it there. Paint this all and mix it the best I can. Yeah. Nice and easy, does it? Okay, so that's going to do this for a first quick coat, very quick coat, and we'll just run around when it's dry. A bit of sandpaper on our fingers, have a feel and make sure. Because the paint's so old, a little bit, I don't know, there's low temperatures affected, but we'll take our time, build it up, give it a little sand in between coats, we get a nice finish on it. And we'll turn them over then and do the other side. Okay, so we brought in this to my local paint suppliers to get paint matched for the wheels, because there was a bit of a mess up the last time with paint colours. So I liked this paint that was on the tin work of the 20, so I figured it was as easy to take this off, or easier to take this off than take a mudguard off. So I'm just going to fit this, and the reason why is I'm giving someone a bit of a hand with a Ferguson 20 diesel at the moment, and they're just asking a bit about the lighting, so options and all of that. So I have this system working on a switch. It's just a simple on off. On is all of the lights. I have wired them up on my other Ferguson 20, two kind of a click. The first click being the side lights on the mudguards, and the second being both headlights, side lights. So all I have here in this case, because I'm only running the dips on this, is double core wire, and I've soldered on my spade connectors. So you can see the red wire there is the positive and the black is the negative. And I have that running kind of in around the bonnet there, just up above the badge. I actually use a screw in the badge there just to keep the wire up out of the way, the grill and stuff, so you don't see it from the front. So right, so what we're going to do here, we're just going to go and refit this this headlamp on. This is your generic kind of a headlamp. So just take off this 19mm on this. So you just take this a lock spring washer, and I put it on this rubber washer as well, just, you know yourself, to stop scratching the paint, because this paint is lacquered as well. And then in here, because I don't use light brackets, this part here was originally longer, and I cut it off because when it was fitted originally, it was actually hitting the radiator, the side of the radiator. So that goes in there, and this little piece goes on there, like so, and the whole lot goes in. This is the right hand side, on the left hand side when you're sitting on the tractor, because it has the little hole for the bracket down there, the slot for the bracket. So we're right in saying that now. Yeah, so I put on my rubber washer there, just a standard rubber washer, and I put on the spring washer inside and the nut. Give it a hand tightening first, and then I'm going to push this through. Now I do find that it's a little bit difficult to push this through with both spade connectors on it. I did try it there when I had it off as well, so I just have to be careful, that's all, not to go damaging them. But it should push through with both of them at the same time. If not, you can kind of send one in and move the other one out of the way. But originally these lights had 3 wires, had dipped, earth and main, so you'd have even harder job. So you'd have to do your wire and put on your connectors out here rather than inside. But it does make removing them a bit more awkward. A lot of times you'd actually have to cut off the lock connectors if you've any more than 2. So that's pushing in there. Okay, we'll go around the other side now. I'm just going to have to do a bit of work on this to start screwing off there. I'll just get that screwed back on. So the bonnet's back down. These originally were red, as you can see here. So when I took these off, I just labelled, just so I know to go back on the right way. So this side here is the blue. So that's going to make life easier. And this other side here is the red. Now, just want to make sure they're not going to hit each other, that's all. I had masking tape on them originally there. I just want to make sure that cable is back pushed in the whole way, because it does feel a little bit short. There we go. There we are. Don't want to stick it in here too much. Okay. So it hinges kind of, there's a hook on the top there. And oh yeah, one thing I have to put in there is this little L-shaped bracket there. I'm actually going to just put a bit of grease around that, because I find if I do have to open it, it's better to have the grease around, because water does run around it. So I'll just put a bit in, just around the rim of it there, and where this little bracket comes up as well, because it'll just make it easy to take off. Just a little tip. It's very easy to wipe grease off. And the whole way around, so that water will run in there and hang. Okay. Bracket in again, so in she goes. Last little wiggle on there, make sure she's good and tight. I have snouting pliers here, so let's give that a quick push on, because just a little bit loose. There we go. Okay, how's all the wires looking there? Good and strong. Okay, we line up things there. Okay, so I'm just going to drop the camera a bit here. There's no point in it being so high. Okay, and there should be a little screw there somewhere, I think. I've misplaced it. I'll come back there when I found the screw. Oh, there it is on the ground. Place for it, as you. And the same thing here. Dip it in the grease. Way too much. But you know what? It's way better off having too much on it than too little. So a little bit of a squeeze, and that should just close. First, just roughly get it lined up. Well, get it lined up fairly well. Somewhere there. There you go, that's the sound. It does kind of click in there, so your bit of grease will make life a lot easier. Otherwise you're going at it with a screwdriver. And that's not good. And it don't have to go crazy tight. But we have our bit of grease on there, so that's it. And now we just lift the bonnet and then give it a bit of a tightening up on side, and then just straighten the light and turn it there so that it's looking fairly straight. And then the bonnet's closed. So yes, with brackets, yeah, I prefer them without brackets personally. That's just my own, because all your wiring can be hidden inside in the lamp. Whereas with brackets, you have a wire visible. Just make sure it works, of course. Okay. Give it a tap. Make sure those connectors are good. And let's give it a little twist. I can face it a little bit downwards, just in case. Not that I'm going to go blind in anyone. And because I have the rubber washer on that, we're not going damaging. Hey, don't tighten them up. Right, now you'll see they're a little bit turned downwards, both sides. and that other one there has the rubber on as well. So it kind of grips it there as you turn, like, so you turn it a bit and it kind of grips then, you know. I like the rubber washers on them, because otherwise you get a lot of vibrations going into them there, and it wouldn't take a lot to loosen off your spade connectors on the back. So that's just one small job, as to say. So the wheels have landed and the tyres are on them. So I'm going to bring them in now, and then I can start spraying up the other side of these. I'll show you in a minute when I bring in the wheels. They're already painted silver mist for like the 135, so I'll be doing something slightly different with those paint wise, but these I like to get the iron oxide onto those when you start cleaning down to bare metal and all of that. I do like put on my own primer, because at least I know what it is. So we'll drag in these wheels and tyres there now and we'll give you a look at them. Right, here we go. So I went for Alliance. I wanted to go for Firestone, but I was told they don't make them anymore, because I bought Firestone, my other Ferguson 20. So they're a little bit bigger than standard. They're not 11.2, they're 12.4s. It's another little thing that I don't mind doing it. I think in my case, as I mentioned in an earlier video, whoever fitted the mudguard skins with the previous owner, he didn't fit them flush with the bottom, he fitted them too high, and you have this massive gap there. So there's a bit of they should be down a lot further on both sides. So I don't particularly like that, but anyway, I'll be able to at least bring them up 2 or 3 inches there. We might be running into a bit of an issue here. If we are, we'll have to loosen that and let that up, put a bit of rubber washer underneath there. We'll work it. We've had to do harder things in this shed over the years. So that's them there. They're a nice simple tread, exactly what I wanted. Not really gone on this style here, but look, what can we do? Farm Pro Alliance. So that's them. So there's the new rims. So they have to get sanded down, everything has to get masked off, and I'm going to go for a different primer on them, a build primer. So obviously way better to have these painted and then have your tyres fitted, but you know, they do have to hold them in places, so you do get marks and scratches and stuff, you know, where the tyre machine held them. So mind you, it's very little like if they were painted. But this is something that I just decided to do the other day, so I didn't get a chance to paint them, so we're just going to go with how they are. Wipe off the bit of grease and degreaser wipe, and then have a go at masking them off and spraying them as they are there. Build light grey build primer, and then hopefully the paint got mixed up to match the headlamp. Same then with the dishes, and then I have new bolts then to go through them, coach bolts. So we'll piece them all together. So that is the plan, hoping to bring it out in the St. Patrick's Day parade and Derrashachtan is shut this weekend. So all going well, weather going well, she'll be rolling down the road on them. And the wheels and tyres that are on it, or someone else wants them to suit a Ferguson 20 TVO. So there you go. So let's see what we have to do with this now. What I've done is I've covered all around the tyre on the side of it with loads of Vaseline. And I'm hoping if there's overspray, it'll land on that and it won't stick. So just to be careful, I'm going to just get some rags and just leave them sitting over it. Put down a bit of cardboard underneath, and I have it sitting on timber as well, just cardboard just to stop any overspray. Plan is to work on one side and twist it. It's hard to paint these because you can't come back very far. You have to kind of nearly go down into it if you want to get a good finish, because obviously if you're at an angle you're going to hit the top a lot more. So we'll just take our time. I sanded it there with 120 grade, so I was going to get a few rags now and start putting them all around on top of the Vaseline. I'm just going to wipe off the Vaseline with a degreaser wipe on the inside then, and we should be a little bit closer to getting them painted. This is the first time for me, so everything's new. So I'm just going to go around to degreaser wipe there just for a bit of the Vaseline when it landed on the ring here. And just give it a little wipe all over just to pick up any loose dirt that might be in there. The rest of it shouldn't be too bad. I'll hit it with the air gun. Actually no, we'll just give it a wipe with it. Just pick up any loose, dust and stuff. Okay, and then some hot air blowing. I am no spray painter. I have very, very limited experience, bar the little bits I do in here. Okay, so that's probably good enough for this side here. Don't think there's going to be any there on that. Okay, so let's get some rags now. There's a good dollop of Vaseline on that, so I can't see paint sticking. So we'll get some rags, cover the rest of the tyre, may as well, and just play it safe, and we'll come back then. Okay, so let's give this a go. Mix up a bit of primer. It's very similar in colour to the Silver Mist paint. So. Okay. Obviously our rags are lifting a bit, but I think the Vaseline is probably going to do its thing. Yeah, seems to be. Lovely. Thank you, Google. Yeah, seems to be rubbing off. Lovely. God, this isn't professional, but I couldn't get any tape to stick to it. Because the kind of bristles you get on the new tyres. Kept lifting the tape. But the paint turned down, the air turned down, and I'm going close, so I can control it a bit better. Just making sure that's coming off. Yeah, it is. Spraying very nice. But not the most professional job, I suppose, the masking off, but as I said, I'll show you now in a few minutes what I was talking about with the bristles. think that's enough. I was going to put this back in the vise because I need to keep it up. I'm going to show you then what I'm talking about with the bristles. Okay, I'll keep the mask on because it's still a bit. So the bristles are right there. And they're stopping my tape to get a good grip. And as you can see here now, hopefully that paint doesn't stand a chance. It should come off. Any bit of overspray there at all. So hopefully it's just going to be a matter of letting it dry, and on the rim, and that should be it. It turned out fairly well. I'm sure there's professional painters shouting at the screen saying no, 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 but I don't know how you would mask off this. Being honest with you, the last thing I want is painting my new tyre like there. Any rubber comes off. So if I let that paint dry, well, to be honest with you, I'll be obviously putting the overcoat on, but it's definitely, after taking the colour well, it's no longer silver mist on this side anyway. So I'm trying to figure out now what's the best thing to do. Am I better off turning it over in a few minutes, doing the other side? Probably am. Have that wheel done. Or am I better off working on these? Don't know. I just know this much: they all have to get painted, and I like having iron oxide on them because they have to be cleaned back a lot. So I might even, if I have some spare of this, I'll throw a bit on that as well. The people in the paint shop said to use this primer because this primer works with their paint, and they don't know what make that paint is and what type it is and whether it's going to stick to it or not. So please God, now that all that paint will come off. I'm sure it will. I hate nothing more than new tyres and painted rims and just paint all over the tyres. So we'll see if our Vaseline trick has worked. This is the other side of the wheel. I tried and tried and tried. Spent about an hour trying to get this masked off, and it just was not happening. So the Vaseline trick might just be the one. I might need a bit more, and to be honest with you, I'm going to get as much as I can, because if it works, it's good for the rubber as well. Of course, it's not going to do that any harm. It helps make it soften up a bit. But yeah, and if it works, I'm bloody happy, because it's a pet hate of mine when you see a nicely done up tractor and paint all up the side of the tyre, stuff like it. And as I said, whatever about some tyres, with this one with the bristles there on the sides, yeah, you're never going to take it off. You're not going to be able to. Well, maybe you can, I don't know. I've tried umpteen types of tape there, near every counter bit these. One of them would stick. Kept lifting, so the paint was straight under the paint. The paint would go straight under the tape, and that's the end of. Not white it. I think Vaseline is probably a better option than the likes of axle grease, like your standard grease. Don't know if that's 100% friendly to rubber now. I shouldn't need Vaseline back too far. And rags hopefully do their job. The other one doesn't lift, that's the only thing about it. See, it's going to go lifting very far. Okay, so that's about as much Vaseline as I have. It's probably enough to make sure it goes right down in there. And I'm sure it'll do nothing but help, I think, help seal up the rims as well. Maybe stop a bit of water going down into them over time. Now it's wash it off anyway, warm water, and it'll get out, so you have to. But I would imagine that would do it. So the same crack will get our degreaser wipes. Just run around the rim there with the degreaser wipe. And wipe her dry. The tape there, I'll get that off with a knife, it's sticky. It sticks to the rim, but it doesn't stick to the tag. Literally just doing there because the rest of it, you can see the paint has come down a bit there, so I don't want to go hitting that. Okay, let's get something just to take off that paint there, the tape. Just a small bit there. There we go. Right, give it a wipe of paper. Okay, so I just ran over that with a bit of degreaser and white paper there. So dry it off, rub the Vaseline in this side now, this is the other side. So just lining up our rags just in case there's mad overspray, there shouldn't be. Our cleanest dirty rags. What can you do? Only make do. Now, the Vaseline should take care of the rest of that. So we've got our compressor up to pressure again at like about 100 psi. So we'll give this side a go now. Okay, build primer on the way. Got enough there to finish her. Good ring first. Whoa! There's visitors there, so I sprayed up the wheel there off camera. So here's the other wheel here. Bit of Vaseline seems to be doing the trick. I went over the wheel I painted there just with a cloth where I rubbed on the Vaseline to see if it managed to keep stop the paint from sticking, and it seems to have done the trick nicely. So I'm working it into underneath the rim there, and that'll do the trick. So the paint cannot stick to it like. So it's putting plenty on, and I think it's good. It's not bad for the rubber, I think. Probably soft a little bit. Might as well do the whole wall of it there to have it all looking the same anyway. Plenty of it on. Work it down under the rim. Just seal her up. suppose it's a form of grease. Maybe a trick that I've learned, so we're doing the front wheels as well. They were never brush painted. I didn't always have access to a shed like this where I used to live. Okay, that's looking good. So there we go. Get her degreaser wipes now. Give her a quick degreasing around the rim there where a bit of Vaseline went on it. Okay. And we'll come back then when we're ready to spray. This hasn't been spread at all, so lovely. That's the job. I'll come back when we're ready to spray, so. Okay, let's go. Same Vaseline and rags. Okay, turn it right down. Oh. Run off there, so let's see the blow. Ah yeah, it'll come off lovely. Looks very messy, but pipe is in the way. Okay, how are we doing for paint? Using very little. Lovely. Oof. The glass keeps falling off. That's not helping, but sure, look. Whew. Okay, since I have a bit left, I'll give these a go as well. Oh, a bit of splash there. Let's see what's going on here. Okay, so paint has turned way down. So I'm just going to build these because it is called build primer. So anyone who's done a bit of this spray painting before will probably see there's very little paint coming out. That's it, just for one coat. Lovely. Okay, so this is how we look. Right, first just a quick coat on the build primer. We'll leave it here overnight. We'll build that up a little bit more. The wheels turned out well. Brass sauce the low shoot. So thereafter turned up very well, I think it's fair to say. It probably doesn't show up very well in the light, but yeah, I'd say they're nearly ready. Maybe just for one more quick coat tomorrow when I fill up a bit more paint, mix a bit more primer for these. I'll just run around here because there was a bit of damage on them. They were new, but I bought them kind of second hand, never used, but thrown around the shed a few times. So that's it. We'll come back then tomorrow evening and we'll have a feel of them with the hands, the fingers, and see are they rough or smooth. If they're a bit rough, we'll just give them a quick wet sand and then wipe them down with panel wipes, white paper to dry them, give them a dart of the air gun, all of that, and we'll then build up a little bit more primer on especially on the dishes, and we'll go around the wheels again, just make sure everything is okay. But the Vaseline trick seemed to work. So the shutting paint Noah, this is the new paint. I can put in the paint code there for anyone that's interested. So I'm taking it from there, I'm mixing it in here, this empty can, mixing it with a bit of Tyres of course. And how we've left things, how rare. So last night, what I did was, as you saw, I gave them one coat. I've gone around to give them a second coat this evening, a sand, light sanding in between, blow the air gun, second coat. These have given a second coat on the other side more so because I ran out. They are already iron oxide, they're red oxide on them anyway. So I wanted to use the last bit of it on the front of the dish. So now it's going to be time to get a bit of top coat on. So I'm experimenting with just mixing it. It's mixed fairly wet at the moment. So we'll set up here. We'll start on these on the inside. That's the reason why I wanted to turn them upside this way, so that if we make a haze of it, at least we're only on the inside of the dish. So that's how we'll bring up the gun now and we'll have a go. Okay, so we'll just test a bit here. And as usual, I have the paint turned down a lot because I want to build these up. I'm in no rush. Okay, so we're starting to build up a little bit of a colour on them there. So I might put a small bit more and we'll call that one coat, even though you can still see red through it. I don't expect to cover it completely. First coat. That's about as much as I like to do on a first coat, and I'm no expert on this at all. But I think slow and steady wins the race, I think, in this case. So for this, I've turned up the compressor a little bit more. It'll kick in a few, I say fairly soon, but it was sitting at 120 psi, and it'll probably start pumping about 80 when it goes down to 80. do it. I do have the thing turned down fairly low. But I think I'll leave it there for that side. It's probably not going to show up great on the camera. You can probably see the little lines there, so it's a little bit weak. Maybe that's just the lights, I don't know. I can't really figure out. We'll know anyway when we start putting on a few more coats. My Vaseline trick anyway seems to be working, because anywhere I take off the cloth and give it a rub, it seems to be coming off. And then actually in some places there the Vaseline is just dried in, so I might go and give it another little rub of Vaseline there. That's what I'll do in the meantime. Okay, so there we are. Looks a bit messy because of the Vaseline, but I went around it a few times there with a bit of white paper, and it actually, the Vaseline kind of dries kind of like a white colour. So the best thing is to do is let the paint dry in a few days, just give it a wash with some warm water and soap, and that should do it. So how we've left it is I've put 2 coats on these, 2 coats on the wheels, and then tomorrow evening I'll just turn them upside down and I'll do the back, then another coat or 2, and let it dry, and then I will fit the dishes into the wheels. I have to make a bit of space here, be able to drive the tractor out to get a wheel onto it, get the wheels onto it. So that is the plan. So yeah, it looks very messy around the rim, but it is only, as you can see there, it's just Vaseline, like it all comes off back to the black. Just going to take a bit of water so I can take that off, because it's only spreading. But yeah, that's it. As far as the finish goes, I'm happy with them for all I'm going to be wanting. It's not going to show up grey on the camera, but look, it's yeah, it's not going to show up good. I went around with a torch as well to try and find any places I missed, so I couldn't find any. Well, I found a few and I sorted them out. So that is the crack. So we'll get them fitted. Have new bolts here. So they'll be sitting there a while and they're losing a bit of their shininess. So I guess give them a quick polish up, and then when I fit them I might just put a bit of clear varnish over them just to preserve. I kind of like the contrast between the 2 metals. So, and when I get sick of putting varnish on it every year, I might just paint over them again. Quick dart with the spray gun. But that's how we're going to leave it there now. So we'll come back then when we have these fitted, dishes fitted to the rims, bolted up. That will probably do a bit of damage because we have to slide them in from the back here, from the back into them. So there will be a bit of damage, probably a bit of sanding here and there and a bit of a touch up when they are fitted. But look, I'm not looking for awards or anything. I'm just looking just to keep the rust off them and have them looking presentable.